In 1977, hospital staff in Tennessee encountered an unexplainable phenomenon: a cancer patient whose body emitted a blue glow in the darkness of quiet hospital corridors. Initially dismissed as hallucination, the mysterious illumination was documented by 5 different nurses across 3 nights. This bizarre case prompted scientific investigation into human light emissions. Researchers discovered something remarkable. All humans emit light through biophotons that are 1,000 times too faint for our eyes to detect. Japanese scientists captured this natural glow using ultra-sensitive cameras, revealing that our faces shine brightest in the afternoon and gradually dim as evening approaches. This fascinating bridge between ancient mysteries and modern science opens up profound questions about our biological nature. Imagine standing in ancient Rome as the sun sets over the Mediterranean. The year is 77 CE, and Pliny the Elder hunches over a peculiar mollusk. In the growing darkness, a soft blue-green glow emanates from the creature's flesh. By this ethereal light, Pliny scratches notes onto parchment, documenting what would become humanity's first scientific record of bioluminescence. Pliny's systematic cataloguing of luminous phenomena in his included glowworms, Mediterranean jellyfish, and luminous mushrooms. His observations laid foundational groundwork for scientific inquiry into the nature of light itself. Imagine the astonishment of a Roman citizen witnessing Pliny's work. Perhaps a merchant returning from sea voyages who recognized these glowing creatures from dark waters, but had never seen them studied with such methodical attention. History takes an intriguing turn when we examine how Pliny and his contemporaries began documenting something far more controversial: occasional accounts of humans who appeared to emit light. These weren't isolated incidents or superstitious imaginings. Throughout history, across dramatically different cultures and continents, similar phenomena appeared in historical records with remarkable consistency. Consider the glowing saints phenomenon. In the 6th century, Celtic monk Saint Columba of Ireland reportedly radiated light so intensely that others could read manuscripts by the illumination emanating from his hands. The description is oddly specific and practical: functional light bright enough to read by, lacking the vague hyperbole typical of pure religious symbolism. This phenomenon transcended Christianity. Across various religious traditions, accounts emerge with consistent details: individuals whose skin emitted visible light, particularly during states of deep meditation, prayer, or heightened emotional states. Medieval physicians documented the corpse light phenomenon with clinical precision. On European battlefields, military doctors recorded instances where recently deceased bodies emitted mysterious blue-green luminescence. These were observations made by the medical professionals of their time, describing phenomena they couldn't explain through their limited scientific understanding. The uniformity of these accounts is striking. Whether from 6th century Ireland or 14th century France, observers described the same characteristics: consistently blue-green light that didn't generate heat, appeared prominently on the face and hands, and often intensified with emotional states. Here's where it gets truly interesting. These ancient descriptions align remarkably with contemporary science on human biophoton emissions, the wavelength bodily regions of highest intensity. Even the correlation with metabolic states match what we now measure with advanced equipment. Were these ancient observers documenting actual biological phenomena that science couldn't yet explain? Their precision suggests they weren't inventing supernatural tales, but recording genuine observations using explanatory frameworks available to them. These accounts appear to document rare but natural biological processes that our ancestors encountered but couldn't scientifically explain, attributed to divine intervention but possibly representing early observations of unusual human bioluminescence. What if those historical observers weren't documenting divine miracles, but were witnessing extreme versions of something all humans do naturally? The human body emits a faint bioluminescence that peaks and ebbs with our circadian rhythm. A discovery that has scientists wondering whether monitoring these subtle light patterns might one day reveal hidden aspects of our health before symptoms appear. From ancient aura descriptions to modern scientific breakthroughs, the connection between human biology and light continues to fascinate researchers. In 2009, Japanese researchers Daisuke Kikuchi and Masaki Kobayashi revolutionized our understanding of human biology when they captured the first-ever images of human bioluminescence. Using ultra-sensitive CCD cameras capable of detecting single photons, they proved conclusively that our bodies constantly emit light at intensities too faint for our naked eyes to perceive. The light we emit differs fundamentally from the glow of fireflies flashing on summer evenings. Fireflies use specialized enzymes, luciferase and luciferin, to create their bright, visible flashes. Our glow comes from something more fundamental, the basic chemistry of being alive. When our cells undergo metabolism, they generate free radicals through oxidative processes. These free radicals interact with fluorophores naturally present in our tissues, producing photons as a byproduct. Every metabolic process in your body right now is creating tiny flashes of light. The cumulative effect is a constant, incredibly faint glow emanating from your skin. Human bioluminescence is approximately 1,000 times less intense than what our eyes can detect. Even in complete darkness with fully adjusted night vision, you wouldn't see your own emission. Your light emission follows a distinct daily pattern that scientists have mapped with precision. It reaches its lowest point at 10 a.m., then steadily increases until peaking around 4 p.m., when cellular metabolism is most active. After that peak, emission gradually decreases throughout evening and night. This glow isn't uniform across your body. The highest intensity readings come from your cheeks, forehead, and neck, areas with the greatest blood flow and metabolic activity. This pattern supports the theory that our light connects directly to cellular metabolism. Researcher Hitoshi Okamura, a Circadian biologist at Kyoto University, explained, "If you can see the glimmer from the body's surface, you could see the whole body condition." This discovery has sparked intriguing medical possibilities. Cameras detecting these weak emissions might identify conditions like inflammation or metabolic disorders before symptoms appear. Imagine doctors scanning your hand with specialized equipment and detecting unusual light patterns, indicating early-stage arthritis, allowing treatment before pain begins. That gray area between established science and unexplained observations isn't merely theoretical. It contains actual medical case files that challenge everything we understand about human biology. In 1934, a South Carolina physician documented something that modern science struggles to explain: a tuberculosis patient whose sweat literally glowed blue-green in complete darkness, bright enough that hospital staff could reportedly read by it. The phenomenon itself and how thoroughly this case vanished from medical literature remains fascinating, dismissed as impossible despite multiple witnesses. The South Carolina case might have remained an isolated curiosity if not for similar cases appearing decades later across continents. Imagine the shock of a young nurse in Moscow who, while checking on patients during a night shift in 1985, discovered a feverish man whose skin cast enough light to illuminate her clipboard. This wasn't an isolated incident. Medical staff documented 5 separate patients with severe bacterial infections exhibiting visible luminescence, like fireflies trapped beneath human skin. "I thought I was hallucinating from exhaustion," recalled one physician from the Moscow cases. "But when 3 colleagues confirmed what I was seeing, we knew we were witnessing something extraordinary." These rare cases share distinct patterns. The luminescence typically appears during severe physiological distress, particularly during advanced infections, cancer, or liver disease. These weren't spiritual metaphors or poetic descriptions. They were clinical observations made by medical professionals trained to document biological phenomena. Several competing theories might explain human bodies producing visible light. The bacterial colonization theory suggests that bioluminescent bacteria, species like Photobacterium or Vibrio, temporarily colonize human tissues during severe illness. However, laboratory cultures rarely identify these luminous bacteria in glowing patients. The metabolic disruption theory offers another explanation. When the body experiences extreme stress, the electron transport chain powering our cells becomes significantly disrupted. This disruption may release more photons during cellular respiration, amplifying our natural biophoton emission from imperceptible to visible levels, like a dim star suddenly flaring into a supernova. Some researchers propose that certain individuals possess rare genetic variations, altering how their bodies process energy at the cellular level, potentially increasing production of naturally fluorescent proteins or changing cell membrane properties in ways that amplify light emission. What makes these cases challenging for science is their ephemeral nature. The visible glow typically appears for just hours or days before disappearing entirely, making controlled study nearly impossible. This transient quality has contributed significantly to scientific skepticism. Perhaps the most compelling argument for taking these cases seriously is their consistency with what we already know about human biophoton emission. If our bodies naturally emit light that intensifies during metabolic stress, then visible luminescence in extreme physiological states represents not a supernatural phenomenon, but merely the extreme end of a natural biological spectrum. And here we are, standing at the frontier of one of medicine's most intriguing possibilities. The biophotons our bodies emit are potential windows into our health. Imagine future diagnostic tools that analyze light patterns from your skin to detect cancer before symptoms appear. The Matador and Topanga assays represent the beginning of this journey. These luciferase-based techniques track immune cell activity in real time, revolutionizing cancer treatment monitoring. From ancient wonder to modern breakthroughs, we're unlocking mysteries hidden within us. As Dr. Andy Yer at UC Santa Cruz explains, adapting bioluminescent proteins for deep tissue imaging could transform disease detection, illuminating what has always been within us, waiting to be seen.